Class we have completed the questionnaire design, and today we are going to discuss about the another very important things in the specifically in the social science research. So that is called survey research. See, generally we used to be a bit confused what exactly the survey and what is the research. So in the next class, you people tell me the basic differences, though I'll tell to them, but you people has to tell something. What is the basic difference between survey and research? And why I mentioned here survey research. See, the survey generally is a very important tools we usually use in a social science research, specifically to find out some issues which happens immediately. So it is a very quick survey. Survey is usually called as a quick survey. And if we need some kind of quick information, we need to go for a survey techniques. Anyhow, we'll discuss details today. So, see, this will be my lecture outline by survey. What is a survey? What is the usefulness and purpose of survey? Important step in conducting the survey and basic survey design. So that means you see the survey is very important in our day-to-day research activities. Even if we want to do something, it is not that only the academician do, the government also time to time do the survey. Various companies, whenever they launch their products, they do also marketing survey. All these things we'll discuss. Why we need a survey? This is very important issue, that does survey is really needed, and if it is needed, how to do the survey also, and what are the mechanism will adopt, who are the people who will be involved in the survey, and how to design this survey, and what are the exactly, because the questionnaire is a major part of this survey. Either you have to follow the schedule or you have to go through the questionnaires. So these are the things which is very important in any survey. So why we need survey? So the very important aspect of survey is to provide someone with certain information. So when if we need that any kind of company or any organizations or anybody or any institutes needs a kind of information, or they do a kind of survey. Suppose you see now during this pandemic, most of the time we are doing this Google survey. Why? What for we are doing? We are doing, suppose if you want to get some opinion of the students, that suppose we want that the PhD students wants to back to the campus. Suppose we send a Google survey to all of our PhD students, that how many of you are ready to back, how many of your parents are willing to send you back to the institutes, then how many of you are ready to take your personal risk and come to the campus. So all these things question we raised and try to extract the information from the people. So the main intention is to extract some of the information which is essential of the time. Maybe occasioned by need for the administrative fact on some aspects of a public life. You see, that's why I told. Suppose whenever we are doing a Google survey from our students, that how many of you are interested to back to the campus, so that is occasionally we are doing. It is not that we are a survey company and doing the survey, because there are some peoples who basically do this survey. So they, what exactly they do, they usually do the survey as per the requirement of the time, as per the need of the people. So they do the survey. So here you see what I'm telling. So either you can do the survey from time to time, or you can do the survey as per the requirement of your company, of your organization, of your institution, on any aspect of public life you can do. And the survey actually facilitate understanding in a scientific manner. So that means the survey is not a very unscientific. It is a very scientifically we do the survey for understanding the facts exactly. So without doing the survey, it is very difficult to get some information in a very short period of time. So make information more adequate, because survey will help you in getting more adequate information from the society and to fill the gap in the information. Because you see, unless and until I do the survey, I cannot understand that exactly what the people need. Suppose you see, suppose somebody implemented a project. Suppose think about an agricultural project. Somebody implemented an agricultural project for the upliftment of the rural people in a particular area. So then we can do a survey and find out that the project which is being implemented in that particular area since 1 year, in what direction it is moving. What is the public opinion to this project? To what extent the public has adopted this project? Even if the public has adopted this project, what kind of risk they are facing? And if you look into this ad, suppose whenever we are implementing the horticulture, the cash crop cultivations in a particular region, we are also doing the survey to look into that what are the risks being arised from this kind of project and how the people who are very much acquainted with the conventional method of agriculture, when they're shifting from very conventional method of agriculture to the present one. So what exactly the risk they are facing and how they are coping with the risk. So all this information you can collect through the certain kind of survey, and that survey outcome will help you in gapping the informations and check the assumptions. So you are assuming something that NRJ which is being implemented has enhanced the economic condition of the rural peoples. You are assuming that, then you make a survey to check your assumption. So your assumption is that NRJ implementation of NRJ has enhanced the economic condition of the local peoples or the rural peoples. So you, in order to check your assumption, what you are doing? You are going with a survey questionnaire, and then you are asking the people and getting the information for the purpose of identifying the problems, facilitate appropriate decision making for policy making. If you want to identify particular problems and facilitate appropriate decision making for policy making, so means you want to facilitate some peoples. You want to facilitate your company. Your company wants to facilitate the people in other way. So that's why they need some kind of information. And suppose you found that in a tribal region there are plenty of uh, non-timber forest products are available in their locality. Suppose what you want? Suppose you want that uh, to identify what are the major problems people are facing while collecting the non-timber forest products, and what are the major problems they are facing while processing the products, and what are the major problems they are facing in the process of selling into the market, and what are the major problems they are facing in the process of value addition. So all these things will help you in identifying the major problems in a particular aspects. So for that we need survey. Because only until I did survey, if I need more in-depth kind of information, I may go for research, because research is generally a kind of in-depth analysis, but survey is a very quick kind of the mechanism of collecting the quick information. It is a quick way of, it is a mechanism or a quick way to collect the information. So here what I am doing here for the purpose to plan the intervention, because if I want to intervene in the process, suppose the into a company who has already implemented a project, so he wants to do the midterm survey. Through that midterm survey, they will understand what exactly the problem the rural people are facing, what are the constraints from our side, and how we can extend our project, and what are the different plan we can intervene in a particular locality to undertake the midterm correction, etc. Means if I am doing a midterm evaluation, if I am doing a midterm survey, so that I will understand that what are the midterm corrections needed in the project, so that my project will be sustained and project will success. So all these things needs the for all these things we need doing the survey. So before going in details about the survey, let us have a look at what is the history of survey. See, the way back in 1851, the survey method was come out. And what was for the purpose throughout the country, throughout the world, to survey the poverty. Because you see, in the earlier stage, whenever we are telling the survey was nothing but it is a survey of poverty. Specifically in London, it was started, and the major intention was survey of poverty. To facilitate town planning and reconstruction in 1930, the survey was used to facilitate the town planning and reconstruction in the town areas. And government social survey started specifically in 1941. The government started the survey. Survey of sickness, how many people are sick, what is the problem the people are facing. This is a kind of health survey started, the survey of sickness. Then slowly we started this government social survey in 1941, specifically in India. They started the survey on sickness, education and employment, women in workforce. These are the three aspects they included and they started the survey. So, but in general, what exactly happened? In course of time, we started the survey in different segments, different sectors. Then one of the major also survey historically we are doing, that is audience survey. So audience survey, you see, suppose I am organizing a research methodology course or a training program, and I call support 10 resource person. Then after completion of my 10 days or 5 days training program, I can give you a small questionnaire as a audience, because you are the people who attended the class. Because you see, suppose after completion of my the entire course, I'll give you a questionnaire to evaluate. Means this is called audience survey. So means you as an audience has to survey, has to give your feedback that what exactly your feelings to this class, feelings to the teacher, and you can look into that the way teacher was teaching, how effective it is, the content the teacher included, whether is it enough for you, and how effective it is for you, and are you able to understand the way teacher was teaching you, and what is your more suggestion for the further betterment of the your teaching, both from teachers for the betterment of the students. Yeah. So it means in every kind of course we used to do an audience survey. So it means you, the audience, suppose I am doing a training program, after the 10 days of completion of my training program, I can do a survey. Yeah. And ask the people, what is your opinions about the resource person, about the training, about the hospitality we provided, all these things we include as an audience. Then another very important thing is generally we are keep on involving in doing the survey. It's called market survey. See, do you think a company is launching a product in the market without doing a survey? No, it is impossible. Because only until you do a market survey, we cannot implement a project. We cannot launch a product. See, every company, uh, before launching any kind of product in the market, they do a small survey. What exactly the mood of the people? What the people wants? See, whether what kind of product have much feelings to the people. You see, sometimes what happens, and we'll connect this to the advertisement we look into. That most of the time, what exactly happened? The we look into, suppose a product a company launched and company do the survey that when the people are adopting a product, whether they are really bothered about the quality of the product, or really they are bothered about the packing of the product, or really they are bothered about the brand name of the product, the companies who produce the products, or they are really bothered about the advertisement. If the advertisement is more crazy, more catchy, more influential, then people are being uh, interested to use this product. And another also we found that sometimes what happens, if we found that even the person who is doing the advertisement also having certain kind of influence. Okay. Because if a kind of celebrity is doing, a big personality is doing the advertisement, so it is more influence than the very grassroots level person or some ordinary people doing the advertisement. Right? So all these things, so that's why you might have seen that very big celebrity, they earn huge money from advertising. Then another is very opinion survey. See, opinion survey. We are doing the opinion survey. Generally, whenever any election overs, we do the opinions poll immediately. The post-election, pre-election opinion polls. Right? Because opinion polls usually influence also the voters. And we do opinion poll about the from which we do the uh, suppose we do opinion polls, the popularity of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the popularity of the Chief Minister of various states, the popularity of the Indian political leaders among the peoples. Look, still, how many people like and how many people wants to see Rahul Gandhi, Narendra Modi, or Yogi Adityanath, or some so and so as a Prime Minister of India. Right? Suppose now Bihar elections started, lots of opinion poll surveys conducted, going on. Right? So what I'm telling, opinion survey is part of the very part of our life, and it used to do. And wherever also the government implemented any projects, new schemes, or wants to bring the new schemes, then the government do the opinion poll. Suppose the new education policy is being implemented. So now what is happening? The moment the new education policies come up, now the government also doing the opinion survey throughout the country, that what exactly the perception of the students toward the opinion toward the new education policy, how the students have reacted to the new education policy. Yeah. So these are the things which is highly essential. Then another is Gallup survey. So measure and track the public's attitude concerning the political, social, economic issue, including very sensitive and controversial subjects. See here what I'm telling is Gallup survey was very old kind of survey was used to measure and track the public's attitudes concerning the political, social, and economic issues. Suppose now, look at the suppose there is a market crash and there is an economic fall down in the country. Then what exactly happening? We are doing a political kind of we are doing a kind of measuring the public attitudes, the public opinions towards the economic issues in this country. But what exactly the public feels about the economic issues in this contemporary period? And suppose whenever any kind of major incident happen in a particular state, immediately different companies or different agencies who are also anti-governments and who are pro-governments, specifically if you look at the TV news channels, they do lots of public survey that where anything happened, so they will do the survey, what the mood of the peoples, what the what is the perception of people toward the law and order of the states, toward the present government. So all these things we also we do in this survey. What is a social survey? Was earlier considered as a fact-finding study chiefly dealing with the working class poverty. So what exactly the social survey? It was earlier considered the fact-finding study chiefly dealing with the working class poverty. What I have already told you. Means generally whenever we tell survey, people feel that it is a survey is to find out the working class poverty. Means they assume the survey was only confining the poverty, nothing else. Survey involves specific techniques of gathering the information. So I have told you generally in the survey we do for collecting, it is specific techniques we use. Either we send the questionnaire or we send the kind of printed questionnaire to the people, or I can go directly and interact with the peoples and collect the information using the schedule. So that's why different techniques we used in the survey techniques for collecting the information. Otherwise, by questioning the peoples, I can go like the TV, what they're doing, they're going accidental, that is they use accidental sampling, and they whomever they met in the street, they ask few questions to them and they got the information. Those individuals who are the object of the research. So means whom I am interacting, suppose if I am doing the mode of the nations, Suppose election, general election is coming, and I am doing a survey, the mode of the nations. So who is my objective research? The general public, the peoples. Okay. It is not that I am going and asking anybody. I am asking the voters. I am not asking a child who is below 18 years. I am asking the voters what is their mode of the nation. Means what exactly the public needs now. Whether the public wants to change the governments or whether the government, the public wants to reinstall the governments. Okay. Suppose whenever the present government removed the Article 370 from the Jammu and Kashmir, immediately they did the survey. Immediately different organizations did the survey, government also did the survey. What is the mode of the nation? So what I'm telling, see, if here what we are doing, we are doing either belong to a representative sample, either we are taking this through sample we are doing, whenever we are identifying some peoples, we are doing through either we are selecting some samples and through that we are doing, otherwise we are covering everybody. Through a standardized questioning the procedure. Either what we are doing, we are taking a standardized questionnaire and through that standardized questionnaire we are doing, or we are simply going with certain kind of, generally the survey we used to go for with a standardized questionnaire, because in survey we want to ask the specific question to specific group of peoples, and there should be, I have already told you, if the questionnaire helps us in standardizing the data and standardizing the information in the writing the very good reports. So with the aim of studying the relationship among the various variables, we need to do the survey. Okay. Suppose I was telling you the NRJ and its impact on rural peoples. So means how NRJ has influenced the economic condition of the people. So means the economic condition and NRJ, I want to establish a relationship. So what exactly the means NRJ is an independent variable and the dependent on the poverty. So means what exactly the link between NRJ and economic livelihoods, because economic livelihoods vary the moment the NRJ will be properly implemented. So based on the NRJ things, the way we are implementing, so the output will in the economic condition will come up. So anybody, any doubt till now? Hello? Because this is the major problem, because I'll keep on tell and at the end of the day you will not get it. Tell me, till now you have any doubt? Anybody any doubt till now? Others, any question? So everybody got it.
So could you again explain?
Sorry?
So could you again explain the Gallup survey? Previous slide.
You want Gallup survey?
Sir, I couldn't understand that part.
Okay. So what I am telling you, Gallup survey is like what kind of it is similar to the opinion survey also. Here we are measuring and tracking the public's attitude towards the political attitude, the social attitude, economic issues, including very sensitive and controversial subjects. So what is that? We measure and track the public attitude. Suppose the Harshat case happened in the Uttar Pradesh. So there we can, a organization can do a very quick kind of survey to understand or to measure and track the public's attitude and perception to that incident. What exactly the public feels. Suppose whenever the government of India removed Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir, you can do a Gallup survey to measure and track, because whenever we remove the Article 370, there is a huge hangama held also from the opposition side. So then the government did a quick survey, because generally you see, this is an attitude of the government also. Whenever government implement any projects with a huge controversy, they do also survey to show that how many people, what is the attitude, what is the perception, or what is the concern of the publics towards this decision, so that the government can cover up lots of aspects. So suppose now the new agricultural policy has come up. How many of you have read the new agricultural policy? Sorry, agricultural bill. How many of you have read? Now what is the necessity? Hello? Anybody has read that new agricultural bill?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Who? Chaitanya.
Yes, Chaitanya, sir.
And anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Deepa.
Yes, sir.
So, only two people. Others have not interested or what?
Sir, I haven't read about it, but I have heard about like a bit of summary about what it's about.
See, why I'm telling, please be very sensitive and be very active. Because you see, you are all student of development studies. Development of what? Because you see, generally whenever we are telling we are students of development studies, mostly there are three segments where we can more devoted to work. We want either rural development, tribal development or urban development. Because these are the three segments for us where we can do the development. These are the three specialized zone where we can look the development from a different perspective, either health development, agriculture development and environment. See, if you look into India, is a country of agriculture. That's why I always tell in my teaching. If you want to understand the culture of India, you have to study the Indian agriculture, because Indian culture is nothing but Indian agriculture. Because if you want to understand Indian culture, you have to read the Indian agriculture first. Because our culture and agriculture is completely linked. Indian culture is evolved through the Indian, giving importance to the Indian agriculture. So you see, and still 60% peoples in India directly or indirectly depending on agriculture, because our industry is not so growth. And at the same time, the government is giving more emphasis, because we know that if you want to bring a rural and tribal area development, real development in rural and tribal area, agriculture is the major source. Unless and until we develop the agriculture, we cannot develop the tribal and rural communities. So when the agriculture is so much important, and there is now it is highly essential to look into the present day development, the climatic change and all, how it is influencing the agriculture, productivity. So with all these things, so what I'm telling, it is highly essential to look into these issues in a very careful way, and you have to, it is highly essential in the student of a as a student of development study, you have to understand clearly the agricultural bill, because it is the bill which is going to influence either merit and demerit. It is up to you how you are understanding, how you are implementing that. I don't have comments on that. My concern is you as a student of development studies have to look into this agricultural bill, try to understand, grab those things, because you are the people who will work in the development area, and the agriculture is the major area for any kind of development, because unless and until we develop our agriculture, we cannot develop, because since the independence we are keep on emphasizing, and in between, so that's why you always tell that Nehruvian model, then Modi model, and all these things of development. So that's why I'm telling, so you should have a look that new agricultural policy and how it is going to influence, why there is a kind of resistance from the country, whether the resistance is political or resistance is a reality. What will the impact of this new agricultural policy in the market? So as a development study students, please have a look on this, because unless and until you have understood, because you see now you are a postgraduate students, you are no more a undergraduate students or graduate students that who will look into the notebooks only. Don't rely on this teacher's notebook, don't rely on the teacher's PPT, you have to go beyond that. You have to read books, you have to be very much careful about the update happening in the society. New education policy, then you have to very smartly read new education policy. You have to every day you have to read the newspaper and look into what is happening. If anywhere some Uttar Pradesh Harsat case incident happen, so you have to very carefully look into that as a development study student. Who is responsible for that? Is it the government responsible? Is it the public responsible? Is the central government, state government, public, local administration, district administration? Who is responsible for that? And once you get into that, you will find that you can really understand that we are unnecessarily blaming others, and whether the reality might be something different. But we are the way we are blaming others might be our own opinion or one agenda. So what I'm telling, be very careful, read everything very carefully. Then only you can give the justice. Because unless and until you focus on that, you cannot give the justice. So anybody, any doubt till now? No. Okay. Okay. Social survey. The term and method associated with it are applied to an extraordinary widely variety of investigations. The survey is associated with a variety of investigations. So that what will happen? We can get more and more in-depth information. They range from classical poverty survey of early 20th century to Gallup polls, town planning surveys, market research, as well as a number of investigations sponsored by research institutions, universities, and government. In terms of purpose, the range is quite wide. So means with the purpose, if you look at the purpose of the survey, it is quite wider. The purpose of the survey is quite wider because there are different for different purpose we do the survey. Maybe for gathering administrative facts on some aspects of public life, or to investigate a cause and effect relationship, or to throw a fresh light on some aspect of sociological theory. We can do the survey on any aspect based on our interest and based on the time requirement. They are also concerned with the demographic characteristic, social environment, activities, or opinion and attitude of some group of people. Because what I have already told you, see, if you want to do the survey, that what is the population demographic composition of our particular city. So the census survey we are doing, we are understanding the demographic composition. If we can do also a demographic survey to understand that what are the different caste composition, religious composition, tribal composition, and within the caste and tribe, again the subcaste and the sub-tribes and all, we can do the survey, and then from that we can get a demographic picture of a particular area. They were defined by Wells in 1935. The Wells first defined in 1935 that fact-finding study dealing with the nature and problem of the community. What is survey? In 1935, Wells defined the concept survey as a fact-finding study. Survey is nothing but a fact-finding study dealing with the nature and problems of the community. So, means what are the problems and what are the nature of the community and the problems the community is facing? Doing a we are doing a fact finding study dealing with all these aspects is called as a survey. To cover the classical community poverty studies, if you want to do the poverty studies, classical issues in the community, this definition would not be adequate for the modern forms of survey. Because if you look at this fact finding of the poverty and all these things, but the survey is no more confining to that. The modern web survey is something different. However, the term is used much more wider sense than what the Wells told. Because now if you look at the survey, the Wells definition is completely, means we are not denying the Wells definition of survey, but rather we have gone beyond that. It is now most relevant to social official survey, market survey, opinion research with sociological research. Survey is a quick survey of an immediate problem for a diagnostic purpose and action. Means if you want to bring a solve, give a quick solve to a problem. Suppose somewhere some disaster happens, we can make a quick survey to know that what exactly loss has happened. because of the disaster. Then we immediately do the survey and access, and by then we measure the loss, and then we immediately submit to the central government. These are the loss has happened this much. Then we immediately quantify that this much crore loss has happened because of this failure, and we earn this much support from the government, central government. Survey is superficial examination of a large scale sample with interview techniques. Social research is discovery and interpretation of social process, pattern of behavior of the group of communities. It is an intensive study. Social survey is an intensive study. We do an intensive study through social survey. I'll stop here because if I'll give you more, then it will be burden for you, because research methodology is one thing. We should not uh, uh, give more stress to the students, because through that you will not understand anything. So